This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The Lotus 49 community likes its oval races. They like them so much they make sure at least one is featured every season. Today we have the opportunity to witness such a race unfold ahead of us, and it's going to go down nowhere else than at the legendary Indianapolis Oval. New faces will enter the race, new challenges for the win appear. Road specialists will find themselves struggling to keep up with oval specialists. This 8th round might be a major tipping point in the championship race between our top 3 dogs. Another fact will be the Lotus 49 itself, as it never has witnessed an oval race in real life. So join us now as we get ready to watch round 8 of the Grand Prix Legends series live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker, joining myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yamin, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. The town of Indianapolis is tightly knit with the history of the Indianapolis Oval. Once part of the Formula One calendar, now known to the whole racing community, it really doesn't need an introduction anymore. Though, Ryan, why don't you give us a refresher about this track?
A fantastic track, and also a track that's famously known for hosting the Indianapolis 500 and a whole other range of series from the IMSA Championship, a bunch of SCCA championships as well, and other stuff. But today it will be host to the Lotus 49 series. Some little details about the track: it is 2.5 miles in length, or 4.02 kilometers if you prefer to use that. Has a smallest amount of turns, 4 turns, and is located close to the town of Indiana. And over to you, Steph, with the standings in the F1 Championship.
Yeah, today we sadly do not have a track guide because, well, our Lotus 49 did break down trying to get off the pit stalls. Joe sadly burned down the clutch there. So forgive us for that one. As Ryan said, we're off already to the championship standings, which is being led by Mick Kletch, 237 points to his name. Rob Olenek, 20 points behind in second place. So the United States driver most definitely will try to give himself a little bit of an advantage here at his home race. Third place, the German of Roman Pawlowski, 22 points behind. Daniel Sadger, 4th place, already quite a bit of a drop there. 64 points in total behind your leader of Mick Kletch. And then we have Ovid Trengerade finally breaking quite a bit into the top 5. He himself, though, is already 93 points behind, sadly. But Ryan, I think the F2 Championship looks a lot closer at the top.
Absolutely, the F2 Championship is starting to get really spicy at this stage of the season, but it's turning into a 2-horse race, it looks like, with Bill Tyler currently leading the championship with 135 points, but 5 points behind him in second place is Antonio Reyes. So, those two guys, it looks like it'll be the main contenders for the F2 Drivers' Championship. And then third place is Andrew M with 88 points, 10 points behind, and fourth place is Andreas Bruno. And rounding out the top 5 on 72 points is Colin Coker.
Now, as they had way back then when the Lotus 49 did still race, we do not have a Constructor Championship, we have a Nations Cup, and that one is right now being led by Germany, 295 points due to the name of that nation. We have the United States in second place, 4 points behind, and the former leader, United Kingdom, 5 points behind, just 1 point behind second place. So the top three, especially here, are even more closer than we have in the F2 Championship. Norway and France way back already, 151 points and 156 points behind. They lay in 4th and 5th, respectively. Now, Ryan, round 8 of this 12th race season, though this one might be quite different for the race details.
So some details about today's race for anyone that's watching the series or is new to watching the series and doesn't know how it works. This is round 8 of 12. The race length for today will be 36 laps around this amazing oval. The setup will be open, so any changes you want to make, be it ride height, tyre pressures, cambers, anything like that, you are free to do so. And it will be a rolling start. And then also the incidents today, it's 17x, so if you get 17x, you will get a penalty. And if you get to 25x, it will be an automatic disqualification.
Maybe or probably we won't see anyone running into that problem here today. But as always, you are watching this broadcast live on the iRacing eSports Network. Make sure to like and especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You'll know if you haven't as the button right below this broadcast will still be right. Qualifying obviously going on in the background already. And right now, Ryan, we have Michel Durignot on the pole for today.
Yep, Michel Durignot, one of the masters of the Lotus 49, up in pole position at the moment. But Rob Olenek is not that far away from him in second place, and the form man just sitting there in third place. Mick Claridge that took the win at Barcelona last week. Managing to hold off Roman Pawlowski.
A lot of people have retaken their qualifying laps because it obviously is only a minute around this track. And at this point in the broadcast, the Grand Prix Legends community would once again direct a message to you guys, as they would like to kindly ask you, the Lotus 49 fans, for a donation into their broadcast fund. If you'd like to find out more about these donations or their broadcast fund, please have a look into the descriptions of this broadcast, as every dollar, as always, does very much count. The Lotus 49 community thanks you for considering the donation, and they also thank everyone that has donated thus far, Ryan.
Yep, absolutely. The Lotus 49 community is one of the best around, and it's a great series with a great community and great racing, and it's every little helps, as the saying goes.
Everything helps, and that might also be the case for our grid here today. Michel Durignot will be leading off that one, but I'm not sure if it helps too much that he is on the inside, as that draft most definitely will come into play already going into turn 1 for the very first time. Rob Olenek will be completing a row 1 on the outside. Mick Claridge, third place for him, alongside Peter Mikus, another strong qualifying performance for him, so might have to look out once again for Mikus, doing very well in a race. Bill Tyler, 5th place for him. Roman Pawlowski will be sitting in 6th place. Ovid Ringrade, 7th place on the grid for him, with Billy Bob Wright in 8th place. Logan T. Walker, a new face in this race, will be in 9th place, and completing your top 10 on the grid will be the number 13 of David Rossi.
Starting in 11th place is Antonio Rees, alongside him in 12th is Andrew Eng. Donald Peake starts in 13th. Great to see Donald having a great qualifying. 14th is Rodney Evans, Colin Coker in 15th. 16th is Dave Cohen. Alongside him is Robert Plumley in 17th. 18th is Jan Hoffman. 19th is Lauren Raffigio. And rounding out the top 20 is Andreas Bruno.
Marco Ravioli will be starting in 21st. Joe Holton, 22nd. Ben Summers, he takes 23rd place on the grid, with Craig Spitzer being the 24th, and with that last count to put in a qualifying lap. Colin Bentley and Paul Ferrer both didn't manage to put in a qualifying time. They will start in 25th and 26th respectively, as the first cars are already rolling off the grid and into turn 1s and 2. Ryan, I think especially turn 1 might be a little bit of a trouble point going into the first lap because cold tires, cold brakes, we might see a few people overshooting their braking point into that turn.
Yeah, turn 1 is one of those corners that it's you've got to get it right. If you make the slightest of I'll say it again, the little mistakes into turn 1, that can cost you, and also it can maybe cause the pack to bunch up behind and maybe cause an accident.
And yeah, it will be interesting to see what actually happens. Maybe nothing happens and everyone gets through well. Always is a little bit of a lottery in that sense, as we're already heading into turn 3. One thing we most definitely can say is that there's a lot of difference between 1st and 24th. It's about 3.1 seconds in the qualifying time between those two. And on top of that, we did honestly expect more oval drivers to attend this race here today. So yeah, our road guys most definitely in a league of their own right now, as nobody of the oval guys tries to challenge them. Pace car pulls off now, leaves Michel Torino in hand for the start of this race. Waits a very long time, still on pace, speed. Green flag comes out, and we are green for round 8 of the Grand Prix Legends Series, with Michel Torino and Rob Olenek still being side by side going into turn 1. We already have a crash in the background. That the turn 1 is all they go in this green flag run.
Yep, it looks like we've got a caution already as well. So yeah, there's possibly some issues further back in the pack.
Yeah, this all is going to start with Dave Cohen in his car number 22. He has a great launch there, you can see it, and then pulls over to the left. Doesn't see that he has Donald Peak there on his left side. Goes hard into the wall, and that gets collected by 2 more cars. And that is 4 cars flipping very nicely, and I think they have also knocked down our scoring tower.
As we're just looking at an onboard of Jan Hoffman as well, and Hoffman was caught up in that, and yeah, that was just like, it's like Dave Cohen was the cause of that accident, and just got sideways and collected some other cars in that accident. Unfortunate for those guys, but it's just the nature of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So unfortunate for Dave Cohen there. What a great start he had. Already jumped nearly the 2nd row ahead of him. And just, pulled over too much to the left there. So a very early end to Jan Hoffman, Laurent Ranfgol, Joe Halton, Andres Bruno also in pit lane, very damaged. Dave Cohen, obviously. So 6 cars are already pretty much out of this race. And as I have mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, the Indianapolis 500 was actually part of the Formula 1 Championship between 1950 and 1960. Although, Ryan, it didn't ever see much attendance from the European drivers and teams because, well, clearly they just didn't bother racing.
Yeah, I think it's more... for a while, it was more of a kind of an event that attracted the American drivers, I guess you could say. But over the years, it started to attract, I should say, drivers from across the world. I mean, back in the early 80s and 90s, you had drivers like Emerson Fittipaldi racing at the Indianapolis 500, and then just a whole bunch of foreign drivers started racing in this race, and it's basically become more famous ever since.
Yeah, one thing we have to mention is that they just didn't bother, even though it was actually part of the Formula 1, so that actually was a points scoring race. They didn't bother because the regulations were so weird, and they didn't not only drive against Formula 1 cars, but also other cars that were faster than them, so that is why they didn't really attend this race. A lot of people are always quoting the Riverside race as the true home of the Formula 1 Grand Prix in America. But in reality, that was only an exhibition race the first time out in 1957, because the Indianapolis 500 was still the official Grand Prix of the USA in that time period.
Also, with this, sorry, Steph, I was just going to say, with this caution as well, this gives gives these drivers a chance to try and save some fuel as well, just to, yeah, save some fuel and just take it easy for a little bit. And but hopefully it should get them to the end.
Well, it is something I wonder if, especially the top dogs in this race, did decide to underfuel their car a little bit and hope on some cautions. Most definitely a viable strategy if it works out for you, but if it doesn't, you really look quite dumb out there trying to go for a green flag pit stop. Lights on the pace car are still on. That means we still have at least 2 more laps to go, 2 with this one including. And continuing a little bit about that story with the Formula 1 Championship here in the United States. Lotus in general did actually attend 2 races with their Formula 1 program. Speaking about the Indianapolis 500 here, obviously. Obviously, back then, that was after the, I think, the Lotus 49 program. So with the next-gen car after Lotus 49, they did attend twice here in 1972 and 1971. Both times they did... the first time they did not win. They actually had to retire their car after 49 laps. But the second time, Jim Clark was actually able to quite easily beat out everyone and dominate the race.
Yeah, I have to say that this this track for me is one of my favourites on iRacing, and in real life it's just one of those tracks I could lap around all day. And I've been thinking about doing some oval races around this track, especially the Indy 500 special event on iRacing that's held every year. So it's one of those events that I need to do, or I've been tempted to do, but it's I never trust myself on an oval because my skills on an oval, how can I say, suck.
And I have to say, I'm a little bit sorry. I got my dates there a little bit wrong. It was 1963, 1964, 1965, where they did race. 1963 was the first attempt. 1964, they were dominating until a suspension failure in lap 47. And then once again, completely dominating and winning the race in 1965 with a 4.2 liter Ford V. And then 1966 to conclude that saw another British win. That time it was a Graham Hill in his Lola Ford. As, speaking about a Ford, the lights on our Ford Mustang pace car are finally out. That means we're gonna go back racing in just half a lap.
Yep. Hopefully these guys can get underway and keep the start clear and not have any more issues. But I think these guys at the front are more than skilled enough and are experienced enough to know not to take any risk at the early stage of the race, as everyone's starting to bunch up into rows as we come up to the final couple of corners and hope to get this race back underway.
The short shoot between 3 and 4 and turn 4 to go until Michel Tordino once again can take the green flag. Question is, will he be once again waiting quite long until the green flag itself comes out, or will he go earlier, maybe even at the drop of the pace car? We're gonna find out in just a few moments as the pace car now drops. Michel Tordino once again waits and waits and waits, still waiting for the green flag. Rob Olenek on the outside creeps a little bit forward. Now Michel Durignon goes once again on the drop of the green flag. Great jump, really great jump this time. Clears Rob Olenek well before turn 1. Hopefully this time we don't have any troubles going into turn 1. Seems quite fairly even up in the top half, first half of your field.
Everyone's got through turn 1 without any issues. From what I can see, everyone's managed to make it through, nice and clean. But back up at the front, it's Michel Durignon leading from Rob Olenek. Third place is Mick Claridge and Bill Tyler. Then Robin Pawlowski. As it looks like Olenek's trying to go for the lead.
Mick behind with a bit of a slide there on the inside curb of turn 3, and as I said, Rob Olenek finally able to clear Michel Durignon for the first place. But here, a much better run through turn 4 for Michel Durignon. Has lifted a little bit there to not run into Rob Olenek. Doesn't matter though, he will get credit with leading this lap as well, as he crosses the start-finish line ahead of Rob Olenek. So all the challenges for Rob Olenek still didn't matter much, but they're still side by side going through turn 1. Rob Olenek on the high side, Michel Durignon on the inside once again through turn 2 there, side by side. Very great run for Rob Olenek through the middle of the turn, but Michel Durignon even greater on the outside. Here comes now Mick Claridge 3 wide for the very first time down the backstretch for your lead.
Mick Claridge into the lead as they head into the corner. Mick Claridge up into the lead, Durignon second, Rob Olenek in third, and behind them as well is Bill Tyler.
All this does is keep the top half of your field, meaning the top 9, quite nicely knit together, still going into lap number 8. Now Michel Durignon tries to keep his lead alive, going over the start-finish line. He will be credited once again with leading this lap. So lap number 7, we still have no lead change to record yet. Mick Claridge on the outside has a little bit of a slide. He has to catch twice, makes that successfully, so he stays in second place. Rob Olenek, the very first time, finds himself outside the top 2, looking inside now with a double traffic. Might try once again like Mick Claridge to go around the inside. Yes, he does. Takes Mick Claridge, as he also tried to take Michel Durignon. No, he left going into turn 3.
Olenek back into second. The rest of the top 10 as well. Rest of the top 10 is Tyler Pawlowski, Wright, Trengrade, Walker, and Antonio Rees in the top, inside the top 10 as well. So, the top 10 still relatively close together.
Michel Durignon once again gets credit with leading this lap. Rob Olenek, the draft, didn't play fast enough into his hands, though this time he's on the inside through turns 1 and 2. Michel Durignon, great run on the outside, even better for Mick Claridge, who gets bogged down in behind Rob Olenek on the inside. Michel Durignon, great run out of turn 2. Will they try to go 3 wide yet again? Rob Olenek very, very slow on the inside because he doesn't get any draft. Mick Claridge now on the inside of Michel Durignon going into turn 3. A little bit late on the turn in for Claridge, which means Michel Durignon has to stop his momentum on the outside. Still they are side by side. This might be the very first time we see Michel Durignon not getting credit with leading a lap, because now here also comes Rob Olenek. Still side by side, 3 wide down the front stretch for this one, and Mick Claridge gets the lead lap this time around. So we have our first official lead change here today. They're still going side by side, 2 by 2, going through turns 1 and 2 now for the top 4.
Look who's came up behind these guys, and surprised me anyway. Peter Mikas up into 4th place, and he's right behind these guys. But also behind Mikas, we've got Pawlowski, Tyler, and Wright, and Trengrade as well. Actually, I'm not sure how many cars we've got in this pack, but this is absolutely fantastic racing at the moment.
Michel Durignon losing out a little bit there through the entrance of turn 3. Rob Olenek not much better through turn 4 on the inside. Gets challenges by Peter Mikas. Mikas has a slide on the inside, keeps Rob Olenek much more to the inside than he would like to. Here now comes Roman Pawlowski for 3rd place, decides better. But we have a challenge once again for 1st place. That is Michel Durignon on the inside of Mick Claridge. Claridge has a good run, and that's another caution. Michel Durignon probably gets credit for that lead, and I think that is Ovid Trengrade's race done. He is actually still alive, so let's see what happened there with him, Ryan.
Yeah, just looking for the replay as well to see what happened to Trengrid. Oh, he got sideways in turn 1 and got collected. Logan went sideways.
Walker. Yeah, he was in behind Billy Bob Wright there, overshoots the entrance, gets into rear of Billy Bob Wright. Lucky for Billy there, as over Trengrid, just innocent bystander, nowhere to go on the brakes for the Lotus 49. Pretty much non-existent at this speedster going here at the Indianapolis Oval. And thus we have our second caution of the race.
On board with Ove Trengrid as well to see what happened from his view. Heading into turn 1, and it looks like he collected the car in front of him and just had nowhere to go. We're all under safety car again, and this will bunch the whole field back up, and again that'll allow these guys to save some fuel under the safety car. So yeah, that's all kicking off at the moment.
Yeah, and since we have our second caution here today, we are actually gonna take a quick break this time around, but don't be worried, we'll be right back just before the green flag drops here for round 8 of the Grand Prix Legends series. We welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends Series, round number 8 here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The lights finally have gone out once again on our Ford Mustang pace car. That means just a few more corners to go until we are back with some racing action. Only about 21 laps remain once the green flag drops again, because we're already on lap number 15 here of this 36 lap motor race. Michel Tedegnon still your leader of this race. Mick Clash, second place right now, ahead of Peter Mikus in third, Rob Olenek fourth place, and Roman Pawlowski right now your top 5. So everything still very much possible for everybody, all the way down to 21st, which is Ben Summers. They are still all on the lead lap. We also still have Andres Bruno driving around 7 laps down in 22nd. He is also the last car to still be running here today. Lots of action we have seen already in this race. 2 cautions have been brought out because of some of the crashes. The biggest one obviously was our start crash, sadly wrecking out 5 cars in total, or rather 4 cars in total, because Andres Bruno came back out again as we're making our way around turn number 4. Question once again is, Michel Tedegnon, what will he decide to do this time? He's laying a little bit back from the Ford Mustang as it drops into the pit lane. But once again, he is waiting on his signal to go. Now he goes. Very early jump for him. Everybody gets caught out except for Rob Olenek, who is already 3 wide going into turn 1. He's in the middle. And he is jumping Peter Mikus, so he's dropping down into 4th place. For now, Rob Olenek has to settle for 3rd place behind Mick Clutch and Michel Tedegnon.
No issues at the moment after that restart. It looks like everyone made it through turn 1 and turn 2 without any issues, and yeah, amazingly, everyone is still in one piece. As it looks like Rob Olenek is trying to make a move on Mick Claridge to take 2nd place.
So very cleanly around the inside, and he's past Mick Claridge halfway through turn 3. So Rob Olenek, 1 lap, gains 2 positions from 4th to 2nd. Most definitely, he is ready to bring the fight up to Michel Tedegnon, who's a very bad run out of turn 4. Gives the run up to Rob Olenek. Will he be credited with leading the lap? Yes, he will be, most definitely, by a full car length. He is leading this one ahead of Michel Tedegnon. So we have our 3rd leader of this motor race. This time it's Rob Olenek.
As this pack is still really close together, and it looks like the person just sitting back there at the moment and just more than happy to wait is Peter Mikus in 4th place. This has been a good race from Peter. Sorry, I think Peter had a good race at Barcelona as well. So he's having another good one as well, as he's trying to make a move up the inside of Michel Tedegnon for 3rd place.
Mick Claridge did go from 3rd to 1st, but he goes from 1st to nothing because he wrecks out in turn 3, doesn't bring out a caution. That's very interesting from our stewards here at the Indianapolis Oval. Obviously, they thought he is well clear of everyone else, as Roman Pawlowski moves himself up to 3rd place past Peter Mikus. Mick Claridge, the Brit, our right now leader of the championship, though, he is very much out of this race, and that means a lot of other people can score some vital points on him. Obviously, Rob Olenek, he is 2nd place, 20 points behind your leader of Mick Claridge, so he will most definitely try to defend that lead with everything he has got.
That was really unlucky for Mick. He's just it just looks like he lost the rear in the middle of the corner and just couldn't do anything, and he was just a passenger, and it was so unfortunate because he's been his form lately has been really, really good he's been good. So it's not a good way to end the race, but that's the way it goes. But back up at the front, it's still Olenek leading from Dudion, from Pawlowski, Peter Mikus.
Yeah, Mika's right now challenging for the third place of Roman Pawlowski. Roman Pawlowski on the outside, able to keep much more momentum. And thus, he is able to stay ahead of Peter Mikus. He has a little bit of a slide out of turn 4. Gives a run up to Bill Tyler, who is also in the draft of Roman Pawlowski. Ahead, Michel Torino moves past Rob Olenek into first place. Bill Tyler was able to get Peter Mikus for fourth place as well. So, with that, Michel Torino right now leading ahead of Rob Olenek. Roman Pawlowski third place. Bill Tyler and Peter Mikus are the back half of your top 5. Though Rob Olenek might be able to sneak back once again to Michel Torino at the line, but he is not fast enough at the line. Thus, that lead lap goes to Michel Torino. Rob Olenek much braver on the brakes though into turn 1. He is once again in the lead, but will he also carry that lead over to the start-finish line? That's a bit of a question because the draft run is extremely strong in the Lotus 49 here.
It's unbelievably strong. As it looks like Dudion's making a move to try and retake the lead. Can he get the move done? Yes, he can. So also apparently there might have been a pit lane incident for Rossi as well.
Oh! Rob Olenek climbs the fence in turn 4, brings out the caution as he grinds to a halt on his head. Thankfully has a crash helmet on. That means that he is safe, and caution number 3 is out and about.
As a replay is up on screen now of what happened to Rob Olenek. Oh, he just clattered the wall and just went airborne and just... Yeah, that's Rob's race done for today. That was unfortunate because he was having a great run, but yeah, they're all starting to fall off one by one.
And Ryan, this what happened to Rob Olenek was something that I thought will happen much more frequently. Just a guy hitting the wall ever so slightly with his right rear, and thus pretty much gets glued onto that outside wall. And yeah, being his race done, that means 2 of our 3 top dogs have already had to retire, which leaves the goal wide open for Roman Pawlowski to really get on top of his competitors in the championship.
Yeah, I was watching the replay of Rob, and it's an easy mistake to make. That I've done that a few times I've done that a few times here from racing another series, such as Rookie Street Stocks, for example. I know it's a rookie series, but it's an easy mistake to make, robbing the wall, and it can just suck you in and just launch you, as we've seen with Rob.
Well, let's have a little bit more of the history of the Indianapolis Oval. The very first race ever held here at the ground of the Indianapolis 500 was actually a helium gas-filled balloon competition on Saturday, June 5th, 1909. That's about more than 2 months before the Oval was completed. The event actually drew a reported 40,000 people, and 9 balloons lifted off racing for trophies. And the balloon of Universal City won the race, landing 382 miles, that's 615 kilometers away in Alabama, after spending more than a day aloft. So the very first race was actually nearly a 500-mile race.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what my favourite Indy 500 race here has been in the past. I would probably say my favourite race would have to be the one that my favourite Scottish driver raced in IndyCar, the Dario Franchitti one, which was back in 2012 or 13 or something like that, when he held off Takuma Sato to win. Another one would have to be another one of my favourite races from the Indianapolis 500 would have to be the 1991 race when Rick Mears overtook Michael Andretti on the outside into turn 1 and went on to win the race. So there's so many good races that I like at Indianapolis, and yeah, the Indy 500 is one of my favourite races. I've got loads of favourite races. We could be here all day talking about them.
Well, you can say all you want, but for me, the biggest Indy 500 was the one that Mr. Takuma Sato won, because I'm an extremely big fan of him. So yeah, Takuma Sato, that one, always a legendary. I don't think that any Japanese driver has ever celebrated as hard a win as Takuma Sato did back then.
And also, yeah, another excuse me, another one of my favorite drivers that won the Indianapolis 500 was Sweden's very own Kenny Brack, who won it in 1999, even though it was kind of technically in a different series, the IRL, because of the whole open wheel split. But yeah, we won't dwell on that.
Obviously, if you don't know which year I'm talking about, that was 2017 that Takuma Sato won in his Andretti Dallara 18. Still under caution here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round 8 of the Grand Prix Legends. Lap number 23 we're on right now. So about 13 and a half, let's call it like that, laps to go. We're expected to be another 2 laps on the caution here until we can go back to green flag racing. Right now, let's actually have a little bit of a rundown for you down the grid to know where all your favorite drivers are. Michel Dudignon, right now, your pole sitter and your current race leader, ahead of Roman Pawlowski. Bill Tyler, 3rd place for him after starting in 5th place. Billy Bob Wright, 8th to 4th. Very good run for him thus far. Peter Mikus sitting in 5th place. Antonio Rees climbs himself 5 spots to be in a current 6th place. Overturning rate 7th to 7th after getting involved into a crash at the 2nd caution. He most definitely doesn't feel that he's impeded too much by the damage he has gotten from that. Same for Logan Walker, who was the car spinning ahead of overturning rate. He is sitting in 8th place. Robert Plumley from 17th to 9th. He finds himself inside the top 10. And then we have Paul Ferrer, after not being able to put in a qualifying lap earlier. He sits in 10th place after starting from 26th.
As the lights are off on the safety car, and it looks like we're about to get back underway with this race very, very soon.
Yeah, completing the cars that are on the lead lap are Rodney Evans, Andrew Egg, Colin Bentley, Craig Spitzer, Donald Peake in 15th, Marco Ravioli 16th, and Ben Summers sitting in 17th. So 17 cars are still on the lead lap, with Colin Coker 18th, 19th, Rob Olenek, who's already crashed out, David Rossi also crashed out, Mick Ledge crashed out. So a lot of cars have crashed out thus far, and I think Andres Bruno in 7th place is in 22nd place, 7 laps down, is the last car still running. So we have 18 cars who are still part of this motor race. As he has done every single caution thus far, Michel Dudignon will be the driver to bring back this race to the green flag. The pace car lights, as you said, Ryan, are already out. So pace car to be dropping very soon into the pit lane once again. Lap number 24 of this 36 lap race. Michel Dudignon gets handed the control of the field, waits once again, a very long forward green flag, now accelerates once again, a very great jump over Roman Pawlowski, who has to defend against Billy Bob Wright in behind. So Roman Pawlowski this time unchallenged into turn 2 because he was able to block off the guys behind him. Bill Tyler 3rd place, Billy Bob Wright in 4th.
That was a great jump from Dudignon to catch the rest of the pack out on the restart, and it kind of caught Pawlowski and Tyler out a little bit, as the pack behind the leader are starting to scrap amongst themselves as we slowly come into the closing stages of this race.
The big question here for the closing stages of this race is if Roman Pawlowski is actually able to challenge Michel Dudignon up ahead of him, as Dudignon has actually quite a bit streaked away from Roman Pawlowski. It's now about 6/10 between those two, and it's not really closing whatsoever. So Roman Pawlowski has a little bit of a challenge up ahead of him to get back up into that fight for first place.
The surprise of the race for me as well, just looking through the positions at the moment, is one of them is Peter Mikas, but the main surprise for me is Ove Trengrid. Considering he got caught up in that incident in the early stage of the race, he's done well to come back and get up into P6 at the moment, so a great recovery from Ove.
Peter Mikas tried to challenge Billy Bob Wright for 4th place, has to settle though for his right now 5th place, but he is able to carry a lot more speed than Billy Bob Wright ahead of him, so we might see the teal car up ahead quite soon go back into 5th place.
As we head on to lap 27 at the moment, it's still Dudignon leading from Pawlowski, and Tyler in 3rd. 4th place is Billy Wright, Peter Mikas in 5th place, and it looks like possibly we could be on for a 2-car battle at the moment for the win, but don't count out Bill Tyler, who's sitting there in 3rd place with a pack of cars behind him.
Peter Mikas once again tries to challenge for that 4th place, but Billy Bob Wright, because he is in the draft of Bill Tyler ahead of him, was able to stay ahead of Peter Mikas. Last lap, Roman Pawlowski did actually put in the fastest lap of the race, a 53.174. Peter Mikas, big slide for him out of turn 4, keeps it together, so he is able to once again challenge for that 3rd place, though, is Billy Bob Wright to the inside of Bill Tyler. Wright versus Tyler, Wright on the inside. Tries to get that away already out of turn 1. It's able to do so, so Billy Bob Wright now in 3rd place, ahead of Bill Tyler and Peter Mikas in 5th place.
Ove Trengrid in 7th place, Antonio Rees in 7th, Logan T. Walker Crowder in 8th, Robert Plumley, good to see Robert having a good race in 9th, and in the top, or rounded at the top 10 in 10th place is Paul Ferreira.
Very, very bunched up there going into turn 3. Bill Tyler and Peter Mikas nearly running into the back of Billy Wright. So that means Ove Trengrid is able to pick off Peter Mikas quite easily on the inside of turn 4, but he has a slide, so that isn't done and dusted yet, because Peter Mikas comes back with a draft ahead of Bill Tyler, and thus Peter Mikas able to defend his 5th place for now. Up in the front though, Roman Pawlowski is able to catch Michel Dudignon. The gap now down to just 3/10 between your top 2 dogs of this race.
Behind these two guys as well is Billy Wright, Bill Tyler, and Peter Mikas and Ove Trengrid, and who else? Antonio Reyes, it looks like, battling for the final step on the podium. So we've got, I believe, just under 7.5 laps left of this race. So this is good to be absolutely fascinating to watch, and hopefully we don't get any more cautions towards the end of this race.
Entering lap number 30, Billy Bob Wright is starting to streak a little bit away from the pack. In behind him, Bill Tyler now under pressure for Peter Mikas for the 4th place. Peter Mikas on the inside, but Bill Tyler has the draft of Billy Wright ahead of him. Thus, once again, he is able to defend his 4th position, but Peter Mikas with a way better run through turn 1 on the inside, but has a little bit of a slide yet again. Thus, not able to keep to the inside of Bill Tyler, and has to try once again out of turn 2 down the very long backstretch they go. He has space of about 1 mile, and now runs into the draft of Billy Bob Wright. Thus, not able to get past Bill Tyler, who's on the inside of Billy Bob Wright. Now going through turn 3, getting very close together, nearly touching wheels. Both drivers, though. Oh, him behind Ove Trengrid gets touched. Saves his car, or does he? No, he goes into the wall. No caution though for that, so we're still green flag. Ove Trengrid, though, his race is done. That means 4 out of the top 5 drivers in a championship have found themselves in the wall one time or another. Very unfortunate racing here for our championship fighters. Now we have a caution. For who is that though? Oh, Bentley upside down. Colin Bentley versus Paul Ferrer. Paul Ferrer on the outside. First, we're on the replay there of a train rate. And now we're here with Bentley versus Paul Ferrer. Paul Ferrer on the outside. Bentley on the inside. And Paul Ferrer just loses his car. Touches Colin Bentley, who overcorrects on the inside. Also gets touched by... who was that? Rodney Evans. Lucky break for him. And yeah, a lot of people able to avoid the crashing Colin Bentley ahead of them. Oh, and Andrew Eng. We might have to get a replay there on Andrew Eng. That extremely lucky there for him. We actually had that replay already for him. So yeah, Andrew Eng. That was a lot of good luck there for him, going just to the right side of the crashing Colin Bentley.
As we've got under just under four and a half laps remaining, and I think we could possibly be on for a if this safety car stays out, we could be on for a two lap dash to the finish. So this is going to be absolutely fascinating to watch, and watching these guys at the front scrapping amongst themselves, and also scrapping amongst themselves for the win and the final podium position. But for me, it just seems to be one of those races where the championship contenders have just lost their mind.
Now, the thing is, we're running here under NASCAR rules right now, which is a little bit weird given, or technically it isn't, because old IndyCar rules also had a double foul restart. So, but I'm not sure if green-white checkered is actually a thing in this race. So we might be on for a very interesting finish. Either 2 or 1 laps is what we're looking at right now as we enter lap number 33 under caution here. Either way, Michel Dudignon, once again, your leader under caution here ahead of Roman Pavsilowski. Billy Wright, 3rd place. Bill Tyler, 4th. Peter Mikus, 5th. Antonio Rees, 6th. Logan T. Walker is 7th place. Robert Plumley, 8th place for him. And Paul Ferrer sitting in 9th place, with Rodney Evans right now rounding out your top 10 drivers of this field. We still have 15 drivers on the lead lap. Last one of those is the number 15 of Ben Summers.
Still good to see a good number of cars running at this stage. I thought there would have been more retired out of this race, but fair play, we've got 15 cars still running, and
16 actually.
16, sorry. 16, my bad. Good to see 16 running at the moment, and if they make it to the end, then all credit to these guys for sticking it out and making it to the finish.
And I have to correct both of us once again, because also Rob Olenek is still running in 19th, just behind Andres Bruno. And we have, I think that was David Rossi. There's one more driver running. It's Mickey Clash, actually. He is also still running in 22nd, 13 laps down. So we have, 16, 17, 18 cars still running in this race. We're now coming towards the end of this caution period right now, being on lap 33. So it seems like we will have a 2-lap shootout if the lights go out this time, which I think they should be. Let's have a look. Going over the start-finish line this time, we are still on a caution with the lights being on. So the way this is continuing, right, we will have a 1-lap shootout.
I'm looking forward to this. It'll be interesting to see if I'm guessing anyway, after the safety car pulls in, these guys will be going at it with the elbows out. So yeah, let's look out for fireworks.
I just don't hope that iRacing decided that we are not going to have a 1-lap shootout and that they are actually going to continue to drive under caution. until the end. But I have my hopes up high, and thus we're hoping for a one-lap shootout. But that also opens a very interesting question, Ryan, in the forms of who is going to win a one-lap shootout where everything's possible?
That's a tough question, but if I was to place if I was a betting man, I'm going to have to say, judging by the restarts in this race so far, and by the way he's been getting them right, my money has to be on Michel Dudillon.
That is a very good point. One thing we have seen is that if Michel Dudillon is able to open up a gap of about 6/10 to second place driver, he's able to keep that lead alive going over the start finish line the next lap around. So yeah, it should be interesting to see what Michel Dudillon can do this time around. He has been quite good with keeping his opponents guessing on the restarts, like you said there, Ryan. So yeah, it will be interesting. But one thing we have also seen is extremely great restarts from the guy in third place, which is Billy Bob Wright. He himself started in 8th place, so he's gained 5 positions to get himself up here. And I have a little bit of an eye going into this green flag dropping once again on Billy Bob Wright, because if he once again can put in a very great start, he might be able to challenge Michel Dudillon going through turn 4 up to the start finish line. As finally the lights are out, that means our drivers are lining up side by side yet again to take the green flag for probably the last time here today around the Indianapolis Oval.
As the safety cars coming round to the start, the home straight, and when they cross the line, these guys will be on the final lap. And I don't know about you, Steph, but I'm excited to see what happens on this final lap if Dudillon can nail this restart.
Billy Bob Wright in third place. A little bit of a weaving there going on for him, trying to keep his tires warm or just his nerves calm. Either one of those two. Going into turn 3 now. The pace car will be dropping in just a few moments ahead of Michel Dudillon, giving the control of the field to him. Still, we have 15 drivers being on the lead lap. That means 15 drivers are still able to win this race. Although, in reality, it's probably only going to come down to the top 4, maybe top 5 of this race thus far. Michel Dudillon. What will he do this time around as the pace car drops yet again for probably the last time in this race into the pit lane? He's waiting once again a little bit. Still waiting. Still waiting. Now he goes. Great start for him, but also a very great start by Roman Paslowski, who is keeping tabs on him. He has to drop off a little bit, though, as they head once again into turn 1. Roman Paslowski still hot on the heels of Michel Dudillon to come out of turn 1. A little bit of a slide for Michel. Up ahead in first place. Roman Paslowski does get a good run out of turn 2. That is going to be a great run for him as Plumley heads into the wall. But no caution is being generated from that. Roman Paslowski goes to the right side of Michel Dudillon. That's going to be the outside for turn number 3. But he is quite high up. That's in the marbles for him. Roman Paslowski has to give up quite some momentum there once again. We're, by the way, not under the white flag as I see on my screen. So let's see what happens. Michel Dudillon comes over the hump of turn 4. But here comes the drop for Roman Paslowski. Will he be able to catch him on the start-finish line? That's a no. That was actually also the last lap of the race. So with that, Michel Dudillon wins your motor race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway ahead of Roman Paslowski. Bale Tyler third place, and a lot of cars going in there at the start-finish line. But what happened with Robert Plumley?
As the replay is on screen at the moment. Sorry about that, my microphone is muted. But just looking to see what happened to Robert Plumley. and it looks like they'll come into turn one. It looks Plumley doesn't seem to have a bad start or anything, but it looks like he might have just. He got caught up in an incident with a car.
Alright, and with that replay, the racing might be done here in Speedway, but the show is far from done. We're going to step aside for just a few moments to take a breather, but we will be quickly back for the post-race show where we will run it down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far, as GSRC will be back after these messages. We welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show streaming to your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. First on the list of the agendas for this post-race show, as always, is the unofficial finishing order, which is being topped by Michel Durinon, the Frenchman beating out the German Roman Pawlowski by just 0.067. That's 67 1,000ths of a second there between those two. Bill Tyler, in third place, with Billy Bob Wright in fourth place. Antonio Rees, fifth place for him, gains himself 6 positions to find himself on the last spot inside the top 5. Lone Walker, sixth place for him, with Peter Mikos after a fourth place grid spot. He only finds himself in 7th. Paul Ferrer from 26th. He finds himself inside the top 10 in 8th, Andrew Eng 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is the 21st grid spot driver of Marco Ravioli.
Starting in 14th was Rodney Evans, who managed to climb up to 11th and finish in that position. Starting 24th and finishing in 12th was Craig Spitzer. 13th was Donald Peake. Ben Summers started 23rd and finished in 14th. Finishing one lap down in 15th was Robert Plumley. And the rest of the field was either too far back or either retired.
Yeah, with Colin Bentley 16th, Overturn Grade 17th, Rob Olenek 18th, Andres Bruno takes home a 19th place. Colin Coker 20th, Mick Ledge salvages a 21st position, David Rossi 22nd, Laurent Ruffgon 23rd, David Cohen 24th, Jan Hoffman 25th, and Joe Holton, your last car of this race, in 26th. Now we have, though, the 5th place finisher, Antonio Rees, driving through some wrecks that happened in front of you. You must be very pleased with that 5th place.
Hello, good night, everybody. Yes, I'm very pleased. I didn't see anyone here for the interview, so I decided to come because it's a little sad when you finish the race and they have no one to interview. So, well, I'm the 5th place. I'm very happy. I really have some accidents on the between, but I want to apologize for Ove again because I hit his rear pipes when I was looking on the mirrors, and I didn't realize I was so close to him because I was looking to the rear.
As always, great sportsmanship inside the Lotus 49 community there with Antonio Rees. Now, 11th place, Antonio, I would say that qualifying wasn't really going according to plan.
Yeah, I have a setup there. I have, plenty of fuel. I was doing a mistake with the fuel. So I finished the race with fuel for more like, I don't know, 30 laps or something. And so the car was too heavy, I think.
Well, let's get a little bit away from the Indianapolis Oval, which is quite a different race to anything we are racing this season. We're going to something else that is extremely different to anything else. It's going to be Sebring. How are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I like Sebring. It's a challenging and enjoyable track. And yeah, I'll be happy to be there, and I'm going to enjoy the race, I think. I don't know what place I'm going to finish, whatever place, it will be okay.
Well, Antonio, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us, and congrats once again on your top 5 finish.
Thank you guys for taking your time to listen me, and have a good day. Thank you.
That was Antonio Rees, 5th place finisher from 11th on the grid. Very happy Antonio, most definitely there. Next up, it's Ryan Walker talking to Mick Clatch.
So Mick Clara is joining me here after having a good race and qualifying third. But Mick, early stages of the race or halfway through that race, it all seemed to just go, just seemed to go to pot.
Yeah, it was quite funny how it all happened. Basically, what the plan was. This morning when I got into practice, I was like half a second off the guys, so I didn't know what happened to my set, or obviously they changed their sets or whatever. Anyway, so I was off the pace, so I thought, okay, I'm going to nick Rob's set off of VRS, so that's what I did, and so I was quite there that as we went into the race, I was on pace again, and so when the first not the first one was in the first corner, but when the second caution came out. I don't know what made me think of it. I was behind Michelle and I just had my foot to the floor and I was just holding the car on the brake in second gear. And I just thought, oh yeah, I'll get a really good restart if I do that. That'll be quicker than just flooring the gas, just lift off the brake and then it will go. So that's what I did. And so that was the second caution. And then the third caution, I just did it at the start of the caution. And I just had my foot to the brake, foot to the floor in second gear and on the brake. And I looked at the fuel and the fuel was just burning miles faster than what I imagined. So I thought, my God, I can just burn all this fuel off now in this caution now, and I nailed it. I just had my foot to the floor in second gear and through the whole caution, and I burnt off every bit of fuel that I needed to finish the race. So I was literally praying for as many cautions as I could get because I thought I'd be the only one on race fuel at the end of the race. That plan was brilliant until I overheated the rear tyres doing it. So, and I didn't actually know that I was overheating the rear tyres. So a couple of laps into that stint, and around she went and I couldn't do anything about it, It was just grease. But yeah, it was still fun though.
It seemed to be one of those races where the championship contenders were just having issues or getting caught up in incidents or just making mistakes. For me anyway, I never expected that, but I guess it's just one of those things you've got to just take it on the chin and move on to the next race.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I was in the pits, I heard Rob come on the mic and say, "Oh, sorry guys," and then I thought, "Oh, you don't want to wish bad on anyone, but that really helped out." I was, wasn't expecting Rob to do what he did. I don't actually know what he did do, but yeah, I mean, to see Rob in the pit lane after me was sort of, because I was even thinking, of just thinking about the championship today. So I wasn't actually going to go for the win with Michelle. I think he would have had it anyway. He was still too fast coming off the corners. So I just thought, I actually started thinking of the championship, and I think that's the first time I've ever done that on iRacing.
Good stuff. Yeah, before we let you go, Mick, yeah, Sebring, are you looking forward to it next week?
Yeah, really looking forward to Sebring. It's an old school track, loads of bumps, and I know this car's got a lot of suspension travel, but it's still a bit of a dog to try and get around that place. It's just got so much power coming out of these second gear corners. But yeah, no, it's back to normality, and yeah, really looking forward to Sebring. I'm looking forward to all the tracks coming up, really.
Oh, thanks for joining us, Nick. And Mick, sorry. Oh, my apologies, I'm bad. But, sorry about that.
So I couldn't think of a different name for Ryan then.
But yeah, before we let you go, is there anyone that you want to thank or anything like that?
Yeah, there's a few guys watching, so thanks for all those guys for watching. They've watched the last few of the races, and they're not even racing fans, so well done to them for sticking with it.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, Mick. It was unfortunate it wasn't under a better result or better circumstances, but hopefully we see you back up there in Victory Lane or on the podium next week, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, cheers, Ryan. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Mick clenched, talking quite disappointedly about what happened in today's race. Sadly, though, this is also the part where GSRC would like to thank once again the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/Global SimRacing Channel, or on Instagram at GSRC_brand. All of the upcoming races for our series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Ryan, Amchet, and Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Michel Dudignon took away the victory here in Indiana. With that said, until next time, Silvers and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.